2024 is 6 p.m. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the invocation and the pledge. Dear Lord, we invite you to preside over this meeting. Even if we have different opinions, give us unity of spirit. Help us listen politely as others share their points of view. Help us to work as a whole rather than as individuals trying to promote their own agendas. May we have a spirit of camaraderie in this room and work together on our shared mission. Protect our first responders and military men and women wherever they may be serving. Amen. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Commissioner McCullough.
Present.
Commissioner Gray.
Here.
Commissioner Farmer.
Here.
Commissioner Hutman.
Here.
And Chair Martin.
Here. Okay, that will lead us into public comment for non-agenda items. I have one comment card. Ms. Jackie Osborne.
Thank you, Jackie Osborne, 85503, Sagaponic, Fernandina Beach, Florida. I wanted to bring Bear with me, but he's kind of attached to somebody down there. I didn't write this all out because I know that you're doing something for the animal control people, and thank you so much for recognizing them. They do, as you all know, a phenomenal job. And if you haven't been there, I will drag you over and let you look. A bunch of y'all even have animals for there. Let's see, where am I? We have got in the kennel 82 dogs, 62 foster dogs, 28 cats, and 44 foster cats. And it's almost kitten season. Don't groan, Nassau County Animal Shelter people, because it gets really crazy. If anybody is considering adopting a dog, please do so now. The shelters are full. There's even a waiting list for people that want to, surrender dogs. So please consider getting a dog. I'll talk to Ms. Martin later on, Mr. Martin, and y'all have a good evening, and thank you so much for letting me speak.
Thank you.
That moves us into public comment for agenda items. Is there anyone here to speak on an agenda item? Seeing none, move into expansion items. County Manager, do you have any expansion items?
None tonight, sir. Thank you.
County Attorney, do you have any expansion items?
I have no expansion, thank you, sir.
Resolutions, tab A. Consider a proclamation designating April 2024 as William Bartram Month in Nassau County, Florida. Entertain a motion.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second. I'm sorry, go ahead. Commissioner McCullough, go ahead.
Apologize, second. Help.
Motion from Commissioner Hutman, seconded by Commissioner McCullough. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and Commissioner Gray is going to read the proclamation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is there anyone in the audience here to receive the proclamation? If so, would you please meet me at the podium? The more the merrier. You got it. Pleasure to meet you. Okay. I love it when my people show up. Okay. Okay, we have a proclamation of the Nassau County Board of County Commissioners proclaiming April 2024 as William Bartram Month in Nassau County, Florida. Whereas William Bartram was America's first native-born naturalist. He was an explorer, an artist, and author whose illustrations and descriptions of nature provide a look back at the relatively pristine environment of the New Florida Territory in the 18th century. And whereas in 1773, William Bartram began a 4-year journey for the purpose of collecting plants as he explored the territory of the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida, and documented over 300 plants and many animals then unknown to science. And whereas in April 1774, William Bartram first landed on Amelia Island, where he described it as a fertile island, particularly favorable up to the culture of indigo and cotton. And whereas William Bartram was offered hospitality by Stephen Egan, the agent of the Egmont Estate and observed that Amelia Island consisted of excellent hammockley land. I hope I pronounced that correctly, hammockley. Okay. Where corn, sweet potatoes, and other vegetables were cultivated. And whereas an account of William Bartram's travels was published in 1791 and became an American classic and a success in Europe as well, inspiring the works of the Romantic poets, informing the 18th century scientists about plants and animals of the New World, and entertaining the armchair travelers on the continent. And whereas the name of William Bartram is memorialized in plant and animal nomenclature, numerous places and sites, including the Bartram Trail, identified by a marker here on the Fernandina Beach waterfront. Now therefore be it proclaimed that this 8th day of April 2024, that the Board of County Commissioners of Nassau County, Florida, hereby proclaim the month of April 2024 be known as William Bartram Month, in acknowledgement of the 250th anniversary of William Bartram's travel here in Nassau County, Florida. And this is signed by our chairman, Mr. John F. Martin, our county attorney, Ms. Denise May, and our ex officio clerk, John A. Crawford. And so who gets the pleasure of receiving this proclamation today? You will? Okay, thank you very much.
Just on behalf of the Bartram Garden Club, thank you for this recognition. And we would also like to invite you out on April 13th at 2 p.m. to the Egan's Creek Park, where the boat ramp is, where a Bartram reenactor will be talking more about Bartram's arrival here in Nassau County and some of his adventures and explorations. When I joined the Bartram Garden Club, I quickly learned that those in the know call him Billy Bartram, not William Bartram. So come on out Saturday, and maybe you'll get to be Billy Bartram's friend too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for everything you do.
All right, tab B, approve proclamation declaring the week of April 14th through April 20th, 2024 as Animal Care and Control Appreciation Week in Nassau County, Florida. Entertain a motion.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Upman, second by Commissioner Farmer. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and Commissioner Upman is going to read the proclamation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to invite the animal control folks to come on up and meet me up here for this one. All right. A proclamation of the Nassau County Board of County Commissioners declaring the week of April 14th through the 20th as Animal Care and Control Appreciation Week in Nassau County, Florida. Whereas animal care and control agencies across the country provide essential community functions, including the enforcement of animal control laws, protecting the public from diseases such as rabies, and educating the public on the proper care of pets. And whereas Nassau County Animal Services continue to qualify as a no-kill shelter due to their outstanding efforts in ensuring that animals entering the facility leave the facility through various avenues, including but not limited to adoptions, fostering, returning to owners, and transfer to animal rescue groups. And whereas fiscal year 2022-2023, Nassau County Animal Services responded to 6,223 calls for service. Additional efforts included the adoption of 1,482 pets, transferring 80 pets to rescue groups to enhance the chances of their adoption, and hosting 76 animal adoption events. And whereas employees of the Nassau Animal Care and Control work tirelessly, I'll repeat that part, work tirelessly to keep the community informed about animal control laws, how to properly care for pets, and raising awareness for each pet needing an adoption. Most importantly, they keep the animal shelter clean while providing the animals with the love and care they deserve while waiting to find their forever homes. Now therefore be it proclaimed this 8th day of April 2024 by the Board of County Commissioners in Nassau County that, one, the board extends their sincere appreciation to the employees of the County Animal Care and Control for all they do keeping the community clean and safe from infectious diseases and animals running at large. Two, the board commends Animal Care and Control employees for their hard work and dedication. And three, the board proclaims the week of April 14th through the 20th as Animal Care and Control Appreciation Week in Nassau County. That's signed by Chairman Martin, the County Attorney Denise May, and John Crawford, the Clerk of the Court. Congratulations to you guys, and thank you very much for your service.
Just thank you all for your ongoing support. It's a pleasure to work for the citizens of Nassau County.
Okay, before you leave, Commissioner McCullough would like to.
I did want to say thank you. You know, I know y'all have started in the school system and everything like that, and that has been such a huge hit with our students, you know, seen, and everywhere you are with different events. And I actually received a call last week. She was an older lady who no longer drives the vehicle. She's there at the end of Horseshoe Circle. She asked me to come get this dog and take it to the shelter. You already know where the dog's been for 7 days now. But I did take him to First Coast No More Homeless Pets. He is neutered, but we now have one more dog at my house because it couldn't, y'all know, did you tell her to call me? I wonder, they're like, McCullough cannot take a dog to the shelter. So I did tell, I just know how full our shelter is, and it doesn't matter how much word we put out, I don't know how to get these dogs adopted, but I've got to do something because I'm turning into like NCAS number 2 at my house, so I will help you. But I just wanted to thank you so much because when I went down to First Coast, that's a good haul. I don't think people realize the good haul. You got to go back and forth that day to pick up and everything like that. So y'all know, truly grateful as a dog lover for all of your service, so thank you. Thank you so much.
And Commissioner Gray would like to say a few words.
Yep, don't go nowhere yet. I just want to extend my heartfelt thanks to, each and every one of y'all. Everything y'all do, I see y'all riding around in trucks and responding to the citizen calls out here in the county and taking care of our pets and animals, and really do appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. I mean, you don't get to come in here maybe once a year, if that maybe. But, I got a group of you all together. I just want to say thank you very much. We really appreciate your efforts. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other commissioner? Commissioner Farmer.
Just to piggyback on that, I know a lot of times it's late at night and we'll find somebody's dog or what have you. It's happened several times here as of late where somebody goes, "That's my dog. How do I get a hold of you guys?" I tell you, it's just, it speaks volumes of who you guys are and the heart that you have to stop what you're doing and collaborate with one another and find out that one of you can meet this citizen up there after hours to go pick up their, their furry friend, if you will. And so it means a lot to me, and I just want to say thank you all very much for your services.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, which tab? You just gotta tell me what tab you want to see. All right, that brings us into consent items. If any board member wishes to move a consent item to new business, please do so now. Does any board member like to move anything from the consent? I do. I'd like to move tab H, I, J, and K. And that'll come under new business. Does any member of the public want to speak on a consent item? All right, seeing none, we'll go into new business, and we will start with, you're absolutely right. I'm getting ahead of myself. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exceptions of tabs H, I, J, and K.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion from Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Huffman. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us into new business, tab H. approve and authorize the chairman to sign the First Amendment to contract for mowing services, CM 3056-A1, with North Florida Lawn Maintenance Incorporated to provide mowing services in Districts 2 and 3 through October 10th, 2024, for an additional amount of $212,719.50. Assistant County Manager Ireland.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. So with this item, we went out for a competitive bid previously on the landscape services. That was provided to a couple different vendors. One of the vendors has been unable to fulfill some of those things, and we've been able to shift that over to one of the other competing bids. So with this, we're able to absorb that within the budget, shift it over, and make sure these services are continuing to be provided for the public.
And the reason I asked to move this was, I'm sure you've all read in there that I think this was replacing someone else who had the contract for Districts 2 and 3, and now the company that has it for Districts 4 and 5 is taking that over. And I think really the amount of money is a wash.
It's
Or close
very
to.
similar, so it can be absorbed.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, so it's not, for the record, it's not an additional $212,000 that we didn't already have allocated for these districts anyways.
Yes.
If I may comment, Mr. Chairman, on
Commissioner
that.
Hutton.
We're grateful in District 2 to have the resumption of services. I'm sure Commissioner Gray would echo that.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Gray.
To be honest with you, that the person had District 3, basically that company went out, they quit on us. So we got, it was tough on us last year. We don't want to get in that situation again, so I agree with Commissioner Hutton. Thank you.
Oh, and I agree also, you know how I am about these consent items, when they're big ticket items, and, I think the public deserves to know what's behind it, and this is basically a wash.
If I may.
Commissioner Farmer.
I just wanted to piggyback into the conversation and let you guys know that, North Florida Lawn Maintenance over in Districts 4 and 5 have done a phenomenal job. So you guys, I'm sure, will be well pleased over here on the other side. And with that, I'll make a motion to approve tab H.
Second?
Motion to approve tab H from Commissioner Farmer, second by Commissioner Hutman. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries for tab H. Tab I, approve and authorize the chairman to sign contract number CM 3559-WA01 with Jack's Utilities Management, Inc. for roadside ditch cleaning and rehabilitation in an amount not to exceed $565,000 for services rendered through September 30th, 2024. County Manager.
Yes, sir, thank you. The board has done a fantastic job over the last few years of being proactive in terms of your pavement management plan, your capital projects, Parks and Recreation, and at the Winter Strategic Planning Session in 2023, you all made a strategic decision to start being more proactive related to drainage and drainage maintenance. And so from that discussion, we have reached terms and contract with this provider who's going to start doing routine, systematic ditch cleaning along your major corridors, the 108s, the 121s. And what that allows us to do is reallocate your internal resources to start working on more sophisticated, more, say, challenging work with cleaning out outfalls, repairing drainage infrastructure, and solving larger problems. And so this really frees up internal capacities without adding new FTEs to the books. And so it's something I think is going to pay dividends for years to come once this program's up and running.
Any further questions? Any questions from County Manager?
None, sir.
Entertain a motion for tab I.
So moved.
Second, Mr. Chairman?
Motion from Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Hutton. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Tab J, approve and authorize the chairman to sign a resolution authorizing the execution of state-funded grant agreement, contract number, CM 3649, with the Florida Department of Transportation for engineering and permitting new road construction of County Road 108 extension from US 17 to Chester Road and associated budget amendments. And this is like a price tag of, I think, 1.5 million, but I think the good news is, and correct me if I'm wrong, County Manager, that it's a grant and there is no match.
Yes, sir, this was not from this most recent legislative session, but the previous one, and give Senator Yarborough and Representative Black credit. This is a grant that comes through the Department of Transportation, specifically for the design and engineering of the County Road 108 extension. That's the roadway that will connect US 17 over to Chester Road and provide a paralleling corridor north of State Road 200. This has no match, and we're very excited to get to work on the design. It's going to start with realigning the intersection at County Road 108 and 17. Those that travel it know that it comes in at a somewhat acute angle and makes it a little bit challenging, and so we're really going to move into concentrating on that intersection and getting it squared up to start coming east from 108 to Chester Road.
Thank you. Any questions for the county manager?
Make a motion to approve tab J.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Farmer, second by Commissioner Gray to approve tab J. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Tab K, approve and authorize the chairman to sign contract number CM 3456-WA01 with Health and Associates Incorporated for professional architectural and engineering services for Seaside Beach Park harmonization and Fletcher-Sadler Road corridor enhancements. Assistant County Manager Ironman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is an exciting thing. So the board has, previously, obviously, we implemented the tourism development tax. Part of that tax is focusing on reinvesting in those public infrastructure that's impacted by tourism and can help support new tourist attraction in the future. So we've gone through a period of time where we've gone through the Dawson study that focused on signage, and then the EDSA study on the beach harmonization projects. Those are being brought together into this design project, and so we're working with the city of Fernandina Beach. They're part of our team to work with HAF on the design, but basically we're going to start with Seaside Beach Park. We're going to design the elements within that park for future improvements, and then that provides that beach harmonization theme that can be utilized on all of our beach parks and signage as we move forward in all of these items. So this is a good critical step that now we get to see that reinvestment of those tourism tax dollars back into our community.
Any questions for Mr. Ironman? Entertaining motion for tab K.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Hupman, second by Commissioner Farmer. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we are under new business. Any member of the public may address any item under new business at this time. Time limit is 3 minutes each. Is there anyone who wishes to address any item under new business? I have a comment card from Mr. Casey Jones. You can speak now or when tab N comes up. What's your desire?
So I think you know why I'm here.
Well, hold on a second, hold on a second. Hold on a second. You have been provided the rules of decorum, correct?
That's right.
All right, so to make sure that we don't have a replay of what happened last time you were here, I just want to make sure that have you read them and you understand them?
That's right.
Is that a yes?
Yeah, that's.
Okay. And last time you didn't understand what the use of the gavel was for, the purpose of the gavel. If I use the gavel, that means you stop talking. Do you understand that?
I do understand that.
That's all I need to
But
know.
you're-
And if you don't follow the rules of decorum, and you don't follow what the gavel is here for, or abide by it, I will have you removed. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And you started off before you even said anything that you think we know what you're here for. If you're here to talk about turtles, that's not what tab N is.
I'm not here to talk about art.
Okay? If you're here to.
And turtles.
If you're here to, no. Turtles and the ordinance is not part of tab N.
I didn't say anything about ordinance.
I'm telling you that you're trying to use some other tab to talk about something that you got here too late to talk about.
Art can be
It
anything.
Isn't gonna work.
We could have a sea turtle,
Mr. Chairman, could I clarify what tab N says
Yes.
for the gentleman? It says to consider a resolution rescinding Resolution 2010-161, naming Fernandina Beach Arts Council as Nassau County's Arts Council. Anything outside the bounds of the rescission of that as the Arts Council would be off topic.
And out of order.
Yes.
So would you still like to address the board?
Nah, I'm gonna pass.
Thank you. Have a good
And
evening.
I'm gonna show up a little bit earlier next time.
All right, tab M, approved finance package 2024-N and associated budget transfers and resolutions. Assistant County Manager Ironman.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are two items tonight on the agenda. There's item M and Q that focus on kind of our budget adjustments. And so focusing on this first one, we'll kind of walk through is when we developed our budget, our current fiscal year, we worked through that process and looked at projected cash carry forwards. As we close out that audit, when we had our auditor come the other week, we're completed with that, and so we know where our carry forwards lie. And so most of this budget adjustment relates to truing up those cash carry forwards, making the budget adjustments necessary. And then one of the great follow-ups that we have is through the winter strategic planning session, the board has discussed where some of those cash carry forwards should be allocated. And so what's within this tab M and Q as well is bringing forward those first 9 items that we were looking at for cash carry forward. It's allocating funding to CR 121, the 23-24 pavement management plan, adding an additional $700,000 on that. The culvert replacement work order reduction of $975,000. The other road department work order reduction of $635,000. There's additional funding into the Amelia Island Parkway Buccaneer Trail Roundabout. The Yulee Ballpark practice fields, allocating the $2 million for there. The Yulee Regional Park expansion, additional $700,000, and that was for some of the property acquisition. Blackwalk Road pedestrian facility gap connection across the rail line. Capital projects management software. Those are some of the great things that are accomplished by prior year savings. So this is not increasing taxes or bringing in new revenue sources. This is reallocating those savings that we had on projects previously, carrying it forward and reallocating those items. Additionally, with that, there is some CIP project savings that were realized that we've reallocated in that CIP, really moving it forward to 2 major projects. Again, some of that going to CR 121 and then the William Burgess extension. So those are kind of the critical accomplishments within this that really bring forward those cash carry forwards. And I'm available for any questions on this.
Any questions for Mr. Ironman? Entertain a motion for tab M.
So moved.
Second?
Motion from Commissioner McCullough, second by Commissioner Hupman. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Tab N, consider a resolution rescinding the previously adopted resolution 2010-161 designating the Fernandina Beach Arts Council as the countywide arts council for Nassau County.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second?
Motion from Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Hupman. Under discussion, the Assistant County Manager, were you trying to get my attention?
No, I was just going to add any value to this conversation, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
You know, we worked collaboratively with the City of Fernandina Beach and their Arts Council. At this point, as they're looking at other options, you know, we need to rescind this and move forward. And then we will continue to receive those license plate revenues for arts and culture. And so we'll look at some avenue and how we find a new partner in this county so that we can designate them and move forward to continue to invest in the arts.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Gray.
for the record, I believe the city has done away with her. It's no longer in existence, so we're just having to do some cleanup to do this. Yeah.
Well, I could be wrong, but I think it was kind of confusing because it was called the Arts and Culture Nassau, but it was a city.
It was a city.
It was a city
Yeah.
board, and that was where the confusion was. And so going forward, it may be called something else, but it's no longer in existence.
At this time, yeah.
Right. So I had a motion from Commissioner Gray, second from Commissioner Hupman. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Tab O, consider a resolution creating the Nassau County Opioid Settlement Task Force, providing for the procedures of appointment to, administration of, and authority of the Nassau County Opioid Settlement Task Force.
I'm happy to speak to it if you'd like.
County Attorney
Mr.
May.
Chair. Yeah. So as you know, we entered in 2021 into the national opioid litigations. That has been settled. There are multiple settlement agreements, and that money is now flowing to the counties and cities that have joined that litigation. You, as a board, made a decision to dedicate our first $800,000 of those non-qualifying county funds to support Starting Point Behavioral Health in their construction of a building on the west side. We will have funds coming in over the next 18 years. And it's a trifold approach. It should be prevention, treatment, and then wraparound services and education. Starting Point is a treatment point, but what we'd like to do is create a task force. We've done a SWOT analysis, and we would have voices from all three of those prongs present, and most of that would include your sheriff's office, your fire rescue EMS, who are really prevention on the front side, as well as treatment. And to bring those stakeholders in and to guide you and help advise you on the funds as they come in over the next 18 years. And so that is the purpose of setting up the task force that you see before you.
I think the school district is
Yes,
part of that.
as is the Department of Health.
Any questions for Ms. May? Entertain a motion for tab O.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second it.
Motion from Commissioner Hutman, second by Commissioner Farmer. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Tab P, consider a resolution which adopts the Federal Emergency Management Agency's Community Rating System Program for Public Information with the City of Fernandina Beach and authorizes the chairman to sign an interlocal agreement with the City of Fernandina Beach for the reimbursement of costs associated with the Federal Emergency Management Agency's Community Rating System Program for Public Information. Could we just say FEMA next time?
It did in the resolution.
Could anyone like to take this one? Assistant County Manager Ironman.
So obviously, the introduction says a lot of it. The main part on this is that the CRS system really plays into our flood rating, and this is where it impacts our residents. And so as we get a better rating, they get lower flood insurance rates. And so we've been working collaboratively again with the City of Fernandina Beach so that we have this joint effort. This just continues that effort, recognizes what we've done, and allows us to work together on that continued resiliency and maintaining our CRS rating.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Ironman? Entertain a motion for tab P.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion from Commissioner Hutman,
Second it.
second by Commissioner Farmer. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, that leads us into legislative public hearings. The following matters under consideration are legislative matters, and the non-quasi judicial procedures will be utilized for the following. County Attorney will read the procedures.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The following items are legislative and non-quasi-judicial. Those are tabs Q and R. The procedures are in place to give all who wish to speak for or against an item an opportunity to do so. Those wishing to speak in favor of or against the item being considered will have 3 minutes to address the board. All statements should be addressed to the board and address only the item under consideration. Please do not engage in personal attacks on other speakers, staff, or board members. Speakers must begin by stating their name and address for the record. Please do not be repetitive or restate the same information as other speakers. Sharing and transferring of time is not allowed. The clerk will control the time allocated. Again, that is 3 minutes. Any speaker that has documents as a part of their presentation should present them to the deputy clerk. They will become a part of the permanent record. The meeting is being recorded, so please no applause or outburst as it does distort the recording. The board will then close the public hearing and will discuss the item under consideration and may ask questions of speakers or staff. They will then close the public hearing and vote on the item before them. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. May. Okay, tab Q, approve finance package 2024-10 and associated resolutions to carry forward funds and make adjustments from the closeout of fiscal year 2022-2023 based upon cash forward calculations and to amend various revenues in the current year. The floor is now open for, to the public. I'm sorry. The public hearing is now open. Staff presentation. Mr. Ironman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So similar to item M, As we developed the budget initially, we developed it on projected cash carry forward allocations. As we finished the audit, we've now moved forward to the point that we have those actual amounts. The action this evening is the public hearing to increase those budgets based on those cash carry forwards. And again, based on the winter strategic planning session, we've received feedback from the board on how some of those funds should be allocated. This again correlates to those 9 specific projects. Just briefly again stating them, CR 121 improvements, the pavement management plan, both culvert and road department work order reductions to remove all of that backfall. The Amelia Island Parkway and Buccaneer Trail Roundabout, the Yulee Ballpark practice fields, the Yulee Regional Park expansion, Black Rock Road pedestrian facilities, and then the capital projects management software. That, again, partnered with some of the other project adjustments, allowed more funding into CR 121 and the William Burgess extension. So, again, to this point is, these are not new budgets, new taxes, any of that. That's taking prior year savings, additional revenues that came in, and allocating those towards the priority of the board, so typically established under the winter strategic planning session and the projects previously approved. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Aaron. Is there anyone that would like to speak in favor or against tab Q? If so, please come to the podium, and your time limit will be 3 minutes. Seeing none, any board questions for Mr. Ironman?
No, sir. Mr. Chairman, if I may have a motion. Based on the...
Whoa, hold on.
I'm sorry.
You're good. I got my, so, I'm now going to close the public hearing. Sorry if I confused you on that. And now, there's 2 things here. It says board questions and then board discussion. So, Commissioner Upton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Based on the review of applicable testimony and evidence provided, my motion is to approve the finance package 2024-10.
Second.
I think Commissioner McCullough got in there. Motion by Commissioner Hutman, seconded by Commissioner McCullough. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. That'll take us into tab R. Consider LDC 24-001, an ordinance of the Board of County Commissioners of Nassau County, Florida, amending ordinance number 97-19 as amended, known as the Nassau County Land Development Code, revising Article 43, William Burgess Mixed Use Activity Center Overlay District, to phase in the applicability of the district's requirements for the property within the overlay district located between the railroad and US 17 from the Duval County line to the northern boundary of Unit 3, Block 2 of the Yulee Farms subdivision, recorded in Plat Book 3, page 24. Revising the William Burgess context and connectivity blueprint, providing for codification, providing for conflicting provisions, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. And this is a first hearing. So before I get into this, we still have a motion at the end of this to go into the second hearing next time? Okay, thank you. All right. All right, so I'm going to open the public hearing for tab R. Staff presentation.
Good evening, and thank you, Chairman, board members. Let me just pull up this tab. All right, so the Land Development Code amendment before you tonight is here for a first reading only, and also to set a public hearing for consideration of adoption on April 22nd. Of note, the Planning and Zoning Board has heard this and recommended approval. Essentially, this request would enable additional flexibility for property owners within a certain area that I'll show you in a map within the William Burgess District Overlay area. And this would enable them to have flexibility in the short term or interim period so that they could choose to go with existing land use regulations versus the William Burgess overlay for a 5-year time period. and Nassau County is the applicant here. So just to go back to the intent of the William Burgess Overlay District, it seeks to create the opportunity for the establishment of transit-oriented, compact, mixed-use community that would promote social engagement, a live-work environment, and fiscal sustainability. The William Burgess Context and Connectivity Blueprint expands upon the overlay district by capturing the historical context of the area to establish a unique sense of place. The district provides specific incentives and design guidelines. This establishes a series of compact mixed-use activity centers that is consistent with both the express goals in the Vision 2032 plan and the comprehensive plan, and seeks to alleviate traffic from the State Road 200 A1A corridor, and also plan for future infrastructure, civic spaces uses, and projected population growth. Now, we recognize that significant investment has been made within this district to achieve the goals that I mentioned, which has resulted already in the development of, for example, hospitals, medical offices, retail establishments, public parks, a variety of home types at a variety of price points, the extension of public utilities, the extension of new roads, bicycle and pedestrian facilities, and the removal of blight. For this specific request, there are many properties within the district, and the entire district is comprised of 5,266 acres approximately, and a majority of those are poised for development or redevelopment. However, for certain, a small percentage of the properties, it may be premature for them to redevelop due to the current lack of public utilities. So I'll point the mouse here in this area that's highlighted and crosshatched in pink and white. That is the approximate area of this Land Development Code 24-001. This is the regulating plan with the thoroughfare assignments. And then this entire boundary here is the current overlay district. So we're just speaking about this portion that is south of State Road 200, east of US 17, and runs to the Duval County line. You might know this northern bound as the northern boundary of the box plant. So what we intend to do through this Land Development Code Amendment is to establish a reasonable and phased implementation of the district to allow the extension of the necessary public utilities for those properties, highlighting them with the mouse again, that you can see in this pink crosshatched area. This area is approximately 382 acres, which is about 7.2% of the total 5,266 acre overlay district. Within that area, potential wetlands make up 230.8 acres and uplands approximately 151.2 acres. To summarize what the amendment seeks to do, it would modify Article 43 of the Land Development Code, and then also amend by reference the context and connectivity blueprint in the implementation of the overlay district. And like I mentioned, to bring a phased implementation to allow time for the extension of the public utilities for those properties located between US 17 and the railroad, between the Duval County line and the northern boundary of the box plant. In conclusion, staff recommends approval of this Land Development Code request, but as was mentioned, this is just the first reading for this request. I'm available for any questions if you have any.
Any questions for Ms. Bob? Okay, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak in for or against tab R? If so, please come to the podium. Time limit is 3 minutes. Public hearing is now closed. Do we have any board discussion?
I don't have any board discussion, but Mr. Chairman, if you'd allow, I'd like to make a motion, please.
Commissioner Gray.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion to accept the ordinance on first reading and set second public hearing for April 22nd, 2024 for consideration of LDC 24-001.
Second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. That will take us into quasi-judicial public hearings. The following matters under consideration are quasi-judicial matters, and the quasi-judicial procedures will be utilized for the following. County Attorney will read the procedures.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, and copies of these procedures can be found by the door. This is for tab S to consider FD 23-001, the final development plan for Spine Road of the Tributary Planned Unit Development, allowing a new collector road for approximately 5,950 linear feet on approximately 32.30 acres. Application filed by Three Rivers Developers LLC, owner, and Dominion Engineering Group, Inc. agents. Quasi-judicial hearings by state and case law are different than regular hearings conducted by this board. They are less formal than court hearings, but similar in their procedure and evidence matters. Applicants have the burden of demonstrating through competent, substantial evidence that his or her application is consistent with the following requirements. For tab S, Land Development Code Section 5.07 sub C, submission requirements, LDC Article 25, Planned Unit Development, and ordinances 2006-68, 2019-03, and 2021-16. Those opposed must also demonstrate through competent and substantial evidence that the application does not meet these requirements. General objections without specific evidence do not constitute competent and substantial evidence. The applicant is entitled to be represented by counsel, and I believe counsel is here tonight to represent the applicant. The hearing procedures will be as follows. Staff will be sworn in and describe the applicant's request. They will have 10 minutes. The applicant may waive their presentation and rely on staff comments. If the applicant does waive their presentation, they retain the right to rebut any testimony against their application. Does the applicant wish to waive their presentation and rely on staff comments? Seeing,
Excuse me, hi. I'm with the applicant.
could you come to the podium? I apologize, but the microphone can't pick you up where you are.
How's it going? I'm a representative for the owner, Three Rivers Developers, but I would like to waive our right and have staff present. But just wanted to
Could you give
introduce
your
myself
name
to everyone.
for the record?
Joe Cornelison.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
And you do retain the right to rebut any testimony?
Yes.
Does your other representative wish to speak and also waive?
Emily Pierce, 1301 River Place Boulevard. I'm the attorney for the applicant, and we will waive our presentation, but we are available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Having waived their presentation, they will waive the 10 minutes to present you with a presentation, but again, retain their right to answer any questions or to rebut any testimony against their application. Public participants for or against the application will be sworn in. They will have 3 minutes each to provide testimony and present evidence to the board. Sharing or transferring of time is not allowed. Public participants presenting evidence for or against the application will address the board at the podium. Any documents or photographs must be submitted to the deputy clerks. As quasi-judicial hearing, large numbers of individuals for or against an item is not considered. The applicant's representatives may cross-examine anyone who presents evidence against them. They will have a maximum of 10 minutes for rebuttal. Staff will have 5 minutes to provide any summary. The board will then close the hearing and discuss the application. They may ask questions of the applicant, staff, or witnesses for or against the application. Any motion of the board should include whether the board member finds competent, substantial evidence in the record and/or testimony received to support your decision to approve or deny the agenda item. Again, the meeting is being recorded, so please no talking or outburst. The strict rules of evidence do not apply, but the board, with the assistance of the attorney, may exclude evidence that is not relevant to your code criteria. If anyone has questions, could you ask them at this time? Mr. Chair, you may continue.
Okay, before I open the floor to public discussion, if there is anyone in the public that wants to participate and comment, you'll have a time limit of 3 minutes, but you need to fill out a comment card. So if there's anyone in the audience that wants to speak when it's time for them, please get a comment card from the clerk and fill it out. Thank you. The floor is now open for public discussion for tab S. Ex parte disclosure, including emails, letters, and any other forms of communication. Disclosure should include who the communication was with, and the substance of the communication. Commissioner McCullough.
No, sir, I have none.
Commissioner Gray.
Yes, sir, I have none.
Commissioner Foreman.
None.
Commissioner Hutman.
None, sir.
I also have none. Madam Clerk, would you identify the documents submitted into the record?
Application FD 23-001, staff report, 18 pages, draft ordinance, 11 pages, William Burgess blueprint addendum, 4 pages, and planning and zoning board motion summary, 1 page.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Entertain a motion to accept the documents into the record for tab S.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Hutman, second by Commissioner Farmer. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Staff presentation for tab S, maximum 10 minutes.
I'm not sure if those attachments were correct. Can we reread those again? I apologize.
I have staff report, 18 pages, draft ordinance, 11 pages, William Burgess blueprint addendum, 4 pages, and planning and zoning board motion summary, 1 page.
There are multiple other attachments listed in my notice agenda item, including a supplemental staff report, attachment A, attachment B, attachment C, DRC approved plans, a PUD monitoring report.
I believe those were for the Burgess.
Okay. Were those separate attachments for the William Burgess?
Correct.
Okay. Give me just one moment then.
If we do find the new record, we will have her put those back and list them out for you, and we will do a new motion and second.
Can we have the presentation while she's doing that?
We would like the documents in the record before they're presented to you.
That's why I asked.
It'll take me just one moment, and I can do that for you.
Madam Clerk, are you going to need a few more minutes?
I've got,
I'm not trying to rush you, I'm just saying.
No,
If
you're
you need
good.
like 5 minutes, we can recess.
no, I've got 3 more to
Okay.
get page counts on, and we will be good.
All right.
So for application FD 23-001, staff report, 4 pages, supplemental staff report, 4 pages, attachment A, 2 pages, attachment B, 17 pages, attachment C, 3 pages, DRC approved plan, 3 pages, tributary PUD monitoring report interim, 4 pages, planning and zoning board motion summary, 1 page, and presentation, 9 pages.
Does that sound correct?
Yes.
So I'll entertain a motion to accept the new list of documents into the record for tab S.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. My thanks to Mr. Macbeth for that backup.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hutman, second by Commissioner Farmer. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Staff presentation.
Do you swear affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and department for the record.
This is Josh Macbeth, Nassau County Planning Department. Thank you, Honorable Chairman and Honorable Commissioners. This is Tab S, Final Development Plan 23-001. This is to consider approval of a final development plan for tributary PUD for Spine Road. Applicant owners, Three Rivers Developers LLC, agent Dominion Engineering Group Incorporated, and this is in Commission District 5. So if we come off of 200, come down Tributary Drive, we're going to get to this kind of approximate area of where Spine Road would be located. This was the final development plan that was approved by the Development Review Committee on January 23rd, 2024. So this final development plan would allow for a new collector road for approximately 5,950 linear feet on approximately 32.3 acres. Spine Road for tributary PUD does not trigger any required improvements beyond its immediate infrastructure. No residential units are proposed by this final development plan. The collector roadway type specified within the PUD ordinance 2021-16 is type F. The tributary Spine Road comprises a portion of the main entry roadway described in section 4.1.1 of the PUD ordinance. This roadway is the principal collector roadway of the development and is required to meet the specifications of roadway type F, which are shown in that figure below. And as you can see, there's landscaping on either side of the street, and you've got a landscaped median with sidewalks adjacent to those landscaped areas on both sides. And we did provide the interim PUD report as of February 27th. Heading into the supplemental staff report. So the reason we're providing that supplemental staff report is we noted that the Planning and Zoning Board had several questions related to this PUD. And I think it's important that as a board, you get a update, because it's been a while since we've considered some of these final development plans. So it's been basically a year and 7 months. It's been an ongoing process. That process began in September 2022. It began with a letter from Holly Coyle in December 2022, which is from attachment A. Staff issued a stop on final development plans. This included units 16, 17, 12, and 13, and it identified that the DRI was non-compliant. Those non-compliant issues were general condition 2, land use tables, general condition 8, reporting, specific condition 27, fire protection, 28C, recreation open space, master plan, map H, legal description of the property, and anything identified by the audit. That audit is attachment B. So that was delivered in February 2023 by Kimberly Horn and Associates Incorporated, and provided several other non-compliant issues. These included the failure to adhere to non-residential minimums and the failure to provide the mixed-use village center, failure to meet traffic study and transportation commitments, failure to meet the interconnectivity commitment, failure to meet the non-construction job creation commitments and fiscal impact commitments, failure to meet the fire station vertical construction requirement, failure to meet the affordable housing commitment, failure to meet the boat launch commitment, failure to ensure multifamily uses in neighborhood commercial parcels, incorporate commercial uses, failure to file required biannual reports, failure to provide surface water quality monitoring report, failure to ensure there's solid waste capacity. This led to a letter in April 2023 from our Ms. Heather Encinosa, and this identified the minimum changes needed to bring the DRI into compliance. And that contained 6 requests. Request 1 had multiple components, included a traffic assessment. That traffic impact analysis pursuant to condition 24, that condition would be updated. A revision to special condition 27, fire protection, a new fiscal and economic impact analysis, an update to the map H series with exhibits going into greater depth of those map H sections, a development schedule modeled upon the minimum allowable land use types. Then it led into item 2, the biannual reports, 3, surface water quality monitoring, 4, sufficient solid waste capacity, 5, an amendment to comprehensive plan map Flume 7 to update the Three Rivers DRI master land use plan, and 6, an update to the PUD written narrative, and preliminary development plan to achieve consistency with the DRI amendment. All that is being said because this has been an ongoing process between county staff. It's not just one individual. There's several people working on this. We want to see the success of this development, and we want to see it consistent with what was originally presented in that DRI. So recent submittals. As of November 2023, the applicant's been working with staff, and they submitted a notice of proposed change to the DRI, PUD modifications, as well as an update to the master plan series. The initial submission was had several non-compliance issues, and there was multiple insufficiencies. As of March 2024, we found that the NOPC DRI and the Flume Amendment were rendered complete, and staff's actively working to provide comments, and we'll be meeting with the applicant in the near future to address several of these comments. So those are being brought forward to you at a future public hearing. This leads us to our final development plans. So recently, final development plan, Unit 16 was heard. 160 units were approved. The reason this was brought forward was because we still haven't exceeded the 1,400 residential units. This brought them to 1,386 residential units. Only 14 more residential units could be approved by a final development plan. As noted, there is a 100 affordable unit requirement. By the end of phase 1, 50 of those units shall be provided for the affordable housing component. So the developer may receive approval up to the 1,350th residential unit. Staff can still put hold on these building permits until those 50 are provided or until a modification is presented that's acceptable to the board. FDP 23-001 is for consideration tonight. Does not include any residential units. It's just a collector road that builds out infrastructure to these other units. So phase 1, DRI requirement, commitments. That land use total of phase 1, 1,400 residential units. Right now, as of that February date, 523 COs have been received pursuant to condition 26 of those 100 affordable housing units. 50 of these units shall be provided by the end of phase 1. This has not been started. 50,000 square feet of industrial, 200,000 square feet of retail has not been started, or we haven't received final development plan. 300 dry storage slips, not started. Fire station is in progress. That's condition 27. Developers working to provide the fire station, fire truck, and rescue ambulance. Community park pursuant to condition 28 is in progress. Phase 1 and 2 have been satisfied. Phase 3 is required to be completed by the 863rd residential CO and includes a multi-use trail, nature trail, dog area, and parking lots. What's important to note about the February 27, 2024 is of those 523 residential units, this represents 16.3% of the maximum residential development program of the entire 3,200. So 1,400 in phase 1, 1,800 in phase 2. This represents 37.4% of the phase 1, 1,400 maximum. So we're only at 37.4% of phase 1. But once again, no commercial or industrial square footage has been completed, and the expectation of the DRI was presented as a mixed-use development. This is the map-based preliminary concept plan. We have received updated map plans that will be provided in those future applications, but this was one of the more recent ones, in case people were wondering kind of the general layout tributary. So these yellow areas are residential neighborhood commercial. These purple areas were neighborhood commercial, commercial light industrial in red. This is that very important village center and promenade and boat launch. The other thing that's important to note, since those procedures, applicants worked with us to provide a fire station, which is right off here at Edwards Road, the dedication of the school site. We saw that community regional park open. Of course, we still are waiting on the phase 3. So we're working to that end goal to see the success of this development. At the end of the day, for final development plan 23-001, this proposed final development plan has been reviewed by county staff and has been found consistent with the submission submittal requirements pursuant to Section 507C2 Site Development Plan Review submission requirements and Section 2505F Plan Unit Development PUD procedures. The proposed final development plan is consistent with the adopted and amended preliminary development plan PDP and the adopted PUD conditions pursuant to Article 25 of the county's land development code. Regarding that PUD DRI monitoring and supplemental staff report, staff is actively monitoring the progress of tributary PUD DRI to ensure development commitments for Phase 1 and compliance with the DRI are met. The developer shall not be granted approval for any Phase 2 development until the DRI is brought into compliance and the Phase 1 commitments are satisfied. Based on these findings, as described above, staff recommends approval of application Final Development Plan 23-001, Final Development Plan for the Tributary Plan Unit Development Spine Road, and the PZB recommended approval with a 7-0 vote. Staff's available for questions.
Okay. I have no public comment card, so we're going to move into applicant rebuttal.
Again, Emily Pierce, 1301 River Place Boulevard. This isn't so much as rebuttal as acknowledging everything that staff has said. We are working very closely with staff. We've turned in a change, what's called a notice of proposed change to the DRI. We've turned in changes to the PUD and also to the land use amendment. And we continue working closely with staff. We think both parties are working in good faith, and both parties want to see this project succeed. So it would be nice if we had our response to the letters that came from the county. We did submit those. I don't know if this commission has seen them, so I would request that those also be forwarded to the commission. But that's a bit water under the bridge, because as I said, at this point, both parties are working together to make sure that this DRI succeeds. I would point out to you that you are reviewing only a final development plan for a road. It is consistent with the PDP. It's been reviewed by DRC. They've approved it, and right now, the only thing that's in front of you is a road. We hope to come back in front of you very soon with the changes to the DRI and the PUD. As you saw from Josh's presentation, it's been a many discussions between the parties, and so we hope to come back to you very soon with that. But we ask that you approve the Spine Road because it is necessary to continue this project forward. And I'm certainly available to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions for Ms. Pierce?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Final comments from staff? And I'd also say, are there any questions for staff? Okay. Floor is now closed to public discussion for tab S. Board deliberation. Any comments?
I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Farmer.
Excuse me. Based on the record evidence and testimony received, I find that there is competent and substantial evidence pursuant to Land Development Code, LDC Section 5.07C, submission requirements, LDC Article 25, Plan Unit Development, and ordinances 2006-68, 2019-03, and 2021-16, and therefore my motion is to approve FD 23-001.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion from Commissioner Farmer, seconded by Commissioner Hutman. Any further deliberation or comments? Madam Clerk, would you call the vote?
Commissioner McCullough,
Yes.
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutman,
Yes.
Commissioner Farmer,
Yes.
and Commissioner Chairman Martin.
Yes, motion carries.
That's 5 ayes, 0 nays.
Okay. That will move us into county manager's business.
I have no additional business tonight, sir. Thank you.
County attorney business.
I have no further business, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Before I go into county commissioner items, I'd just like to say tab T is an informational item for the Board of County Commissioners newsletter for February 2024. Very well done, as usual. County commissioner comments, and I wrote the order down, Commissioner McCullough. That way I will
You
not.
forgive me one time and then.
No. That way I will not neglect you or anybody.
It's only me that's been.
No.
It's okay.
I fully acknowledge where I was I made an error. So we're going to start with Commissioner Farmer.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know if I've ever went first, but I'm not shy, so we'll walk out there and break the ice. Met with Sherry Mitchell today for Nassau County Economic Development Board. Very productive meeting, and it's just good to see some energy revolving around some upcoming projects, and then, of course, working with stakeholders here in the county. I think it's a great direction for us because obviously money follows money at the end of the day, and we want to make sure that we continue to grow and continue to see these commercial developments unfold in a way that is conducive to all the people here, and they provide us with some jobs and provide us with some revenue outside of rooftops. So it's really good to talk to her about that, and we had a real good conversation. She asked me what was one of the most rewarding parts of the job, sitting in this seat, and I told her I would say it's seeing work getting done out in the field in a timely manner after you've been involved in it, and then being able to ride by and then see that the people, the taxpayers, or in my words, the customer, calls you, notices it, and then lets you know and the neighbors know that you got things done. So, it's just a testament to who this board is, and I'm proud to be a part of it. This last weekend, went down to the Hilliard Car Show in the community market this past Saturday. There was a lot of people out there. It's beautiful weather. If you missed it, you missed a heck of a car show and a community market. There's a lot of local vendors there. They're engaged, and I see those same vendors kind of moving across the county, coming to the Yulee market, coming to Callahan market. So if you haven't seen those markets, man, go out and see what some of the people here in our community do. There's some of that stuff's impressive. I mean, I don't have the talent to sit there and do some of the intricate, detailed stuff, but like Celeste sent me over to get some cookies from the Callahan Cookie Company. Well, I didn't know anything about that. And she sent me a picture of it and said, I want those particular cookies. So I went down and got them, and man, it was just really cool to see that somebody in my community can design those cookies like that, because I mean it's art, really, truly. I mean, you hate to even eat it, it's so pretty, you know what I mean? But it's really cool. But nonetheless, lucked out, and I gave them $25 for the 50-50 drawing over at the Hilliard Car Show and ended up winning the darn thing. So I got $617 that I donated back to that Vietnam Veterans Wall. So that's really cool. Probably better.
Kudos, thank you.
Yeah, best $25 plug I've spent in a long time, to get
It's a good 50-50.
Yeah, man, I mean, so, $1,234 went to the Vietnam Veterans Wall that we're gonna bring to the fairgrounds. So I thought that was really cool. Friends of Fernandina Beach Library has a buy a brick program. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. I bought one for me and my father. I thought it was pretty cool. It's $100 and goes outside the library. So if you guys are interested in that and you haven't seen it, you can go to fernandinafol.org, and they'd love to see you put your money out there for the Friends of the Library. And I won't mention Caitlin's ride. I'll leave that for Commissioner Gray, because I know you've forgotten it once before, but he'll never forget it again.
That's right, that's right.
And with that, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner. I just have one question. Did the cookies make it home?
Yes, they did, because I was told to get them.
Commissioner Huttman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick review. The Economic Development Board luncheon that took place last week was incredibly powerful in the community between, those economic engines that we want to drive into the county. The other thing I'd like to tell you, County Manager Pope, was that Mr. Companion's presentation to that community, I don't know that they've actually heard some of that material, and it was important for that part of the community to hear his presentation about what's going on at the county, especially the CIP projects, which, sometimes they're focused on the economic side and the commercial business side, but they don't stop and look up at the big infrastructure picture. He did a fabulous job presenting it, and it garnered the most questions from the audience that day. So, well done to Mr. Companion, and two, I recommend we do that at least quarterly for him. Yes, sir. Yeah. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you,
Thanks very
Commissioner
much.
Huttman. Commissioner McCullough.
I mean, everybody hit everything. I would say, I even asked Mr. Companion for a copy of his presentation for the meeting because there was so much information. He did such a wonderful job of executing so many key details that came from different segments that we hear regularly, but he condensed that, executed, and he did an immaculate job. So he did wonderful. It was so great to have all of us together. Even as Sherry said, it's rare that we all get in a room together and we talk about the success. A lot of times in this seat, it's a lot of negative, questions. We always, what she said, we always get kicked. But I think there's a lot more, there's so many good, positive things going on that we're so privileged to be a part of as we move those economic engines, as we see the town of Hilliard, the town of Callahan grow. But in a way, yes, we're a growing population, but man, if you just saw, Mr. Farmer and I have grown up here in Nassau County. If you saw the way that we're all like coming back together as a community, watching those events take place, it's very humbling. It's very exciting to see us. Yes, we're growing in rooftops, but we're growing in a community sense. And so you always want it to grow in a good, healthy balance. So that's such a privilege to see. And I do have Pedro, the vet said he was a 1.5-year Beagle mix. If anybody, he didn't make it NCAS, but if somebody is looking for a cute little dog, he's still at my house and I will bring him to you. The weird calls we get in this seat. We are now at delivery service for homeless pets too, and I'll keep doing it. So next one that calls, as long as it's not a cat, I will keep getting them. I'll take the cat to you, Brandy, and I'll keep getting the dogs. Okay. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I'll bring it to you, Mr. Chairman. You need a dog.
I'm not the one you have to convince.
Okay.
I may be the chairman of the Board of County Commissioners, but
Okay.
I have a different role as
At home.
2120 Highland Street.
Okay, yes, sir. Okay.
Commissioner Gray.
Okay, I believe our IT department's getting ready to zoom in on our Caitlin's Ride for Autism. Yes, I'm not going to forget that, Commissioner Farmer. I got another one over here to the side, but anyway, that's going to be coming up Saturday, April 20th. It's the largest, it's the 11th annual golf cart poker run that we have in Northeast Florida. All the proceeds benefit the Autism Society and Northeast Florida Regional Disabilities. So come on out. You can register online. It's a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of prizes given away. There'll be live music until 6 p.m., food truck raffles, silent auction, best hand, best costume, best themed decorated golf carts. It's going to be a lot of fun. So everybody, please come on out and support this great charity. It's the biggest event they have all year long, for this organization. I also want to echo Commissioner Huffman's and all the other commissioners about the NCEDV. Robert Companion, our Deputy County Manager, did an excellent job. I tell you what, just fantastic. I enjoyed it so much. I want to thank Senator Yarborough for coming and attending with that up here with us and sitting and going through that event with us. Thursday the 28th, I was honored to attend the West Side Business Leaders Prayer Breakfast over in Callahan. It was held at First United Methodist Church. And a lot of the business leaders were there. It gives us an opportunity to network and, work on the west side of the county and east side of the county all together. It was a really good event. Enjoyed it very much. In addition to Caitlin's Ride, Saturday, April 20th, Commissioner Farmer, we have the West Side Callahan 19th Annual Railroad Days. That's right. And so I'll go ahead and put that plug in there for you. And I know it's a lot for us to keep up with. That is going to be on the same day as the Caitlin's Ride. So Commissioner Farmer said he'll probably be on the east side. I imagine some of the other commissioners will. We'll have some on the west side and, just moving around. It's going to be hard for us all to be. There's also a YMCA Healthy Kids event that same date, and I believe it's at Tributary Park, County Manager?
Yes, sir.
Yep. So there's a lot going on April the 20th. And, one more little plug here I've got is Grace Church on Pages Dairy Road is having their 13th annual. On April 13th, they're having a 25th annual spring fling at their church from 11 to 3. So they invited the community to come on out and enjoy that with them. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Gray. Well, I think you've said, my colleagues have said almost everything about the Nassau County Economic Development Board luncheon and the presentations, and I echo everything that has been previously said. In addition to that, our Clerk of Court, John Crawford, was recognized by the Nassau County Economic Development Board for his over 30 years of service and for being one of the founding members of the Nassau County Economic Development Board. For those of you that don't know this, Mr. Crawford was a county commissioner for 2 terms in the 90s, I think from 90 to 98, and then he became our Clerk of Court in 2004. This 2004 election, I think he got sworn in after the first year, 2005, and he's done an excellent job as our Clerk of Court ever since, and he's going to be retiring. He's decided he's not going to seek re-election. He's going to retire. And so the Nassau County Economic Development Board, I don't know if this was as a result of that or if they already had planned to recognize them, but it was a nice Folks said some really nice things about Mr. Crawford, presented him with a plaque, and they got some good photo ops there. So thank you, Mr. Crawford, for your many years of service to Nassau County. In addition to all 5 county commissioners being there, thank you for showing up to the luncheon. We also had several county staff members there. I saw Brandy Carvalho, Holly Coyle, who else did I see there? Marshall Ironman was there, and he fielded a few questions that were more on the financial side of it, which were in his wheelhouse. Vice Robert, who did an outstanding presentation. Also, again, Senator Yarborough was there. We had some other, City of Fernandina Beach had a couple of commissioners there. OPA had a couple of commissioners there. Town of Hilliard and Callahan, I believe, had some commissioners there too. So it was very well attended by elected officials, decision makers, and county staff people who are doing the work, all right, and making these things happen. I gave kudos to Representative Black's legislative, Nassau County District Aide, George Spicer, because he, we're all getting the emails about the windshields being broken on going on the Shave Bridge, State Road 200, that area there. Well, reached out to Mr. Spicer about that, and we've only got so much they can do to get. It's a state road. We don't own it, but what he did do that has made it, and I travel that road every day, has made it a lot better. He did, however, I don't know how he did it, but he did convince the state to at least sweep the road, and I think it's being swept every night. Not to interfere with regular traffic or anything like that. So until we can get this thing moved up and the work to resurface it done, at least an effort is being made, and so kudos to George Spicer on behalf of Representative Black for that. And when Senator Yarborough heard that, you're going to back me up, right? Because you were there, Mr. Ironman. When Senator Yarborough heard that, he told George, hey, we need to talk about that. And so I didn't get any more details on that, but we may want to reach out again to Senator Yarborough to see if we can get some help on that.
Add something to that real quick.
I can add to it too. Go ahead.
I've sat on the TPO board, and of course, I get to see DOT representatives on the regular. Secretary Evans of the DOT, I made it very well known to them that, the district aid is getting worn out because, I hear about it, see about it, and I said, look, we need to do something, even if it's wrong. And he said that there's about 5 different ways that they're talking about potentially patching that area of roadway. So just to put it out there for the public, the DOT hears you. They know it's a hazard. They know it's a problem. I've had rocks bounce off my windshield. Thankfully, I haven't busted one yet, but Commissioner Huffman said he's had 2 that he's had to call Safe Light or whoever comes to replace that stuff. And at the end of the day, there's about 5 different potential fixes for that they're working on. And so while they're sweeping it every night to try to get the loose rock and debris out of there, they're trying to calculate what's the best method moving forward, just to add to that.
Thank you, Commissioner Farmer. Commissioner Gray, you wanted to piggyback on that?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I believe I heard December they're going to start moving forward with, to share some information with the commission. December they're going to start moving forward with some patching and overlay and just trying to get us by until, so that's going to come up in December is the last I heard. I was riding my motorcycle with me and my wife yesterday on that road, and it's kind of tricky, kind of tricky. So I'm glad to see we get some help, and I'm like you, Senator Yarborough and George Spicer. They really have fielded a lot of questions for us and really done a good job for us.
Well, I said this before in referencing, how this board works with other entities, and whether it's city, township, county, staff, the state, federal government. We have a congressman here from Nassau County. We're collaborating and we're working together to try to get things done. So if no one has anything else, we're adjourned.